that you're afraid of or you're not good at, the first thing you're going to say to yourself is, why am I here anyway? This isn't for me. The water's too cold. The sun's too hot. I'm getting up too early. Why am I doing this to myself? That's what the normal mind says. I had to start training my mind to think about, how the f can I get through this? Not giving myself a way out. Never giving myself, creating a wall around all the f***ing ways out in my mind. I had to slowly start to build this f***ing wall so my mind knew this is not going to give himself a way out of here. In my first hell week, I had a huge setback. I was broken. My legs were broken. I had double pneumonia. I got rolled back to day one, week one of Navy SEAL training. I got through that second hell week. During the second hell week, I actually broke my knee. I continued to limp around for a couple weeks. I couldn't make it anymore. Got rolled back to day one, week one. I'll never forget standing there in front of Captain Bowen. He was the CEO in charge of Navy SEAL training at the time. And he had no mercy on anybody. If he believed in managing your expectations, I wouldn't be here today. He challenged me again. I was challenged my whole life, not by the mindset of managing expectations, by exceeding expectations, not by managing them. I'm standing there with crutches. I'm sitting in his office. He looks at me, he goes, Goggins, this is your last time. We're gonna put you through Navy SEAL training. This will be your third hell week in 1 year. We're not gonna put you through a fourth. So this is your last time. I'm sitting thinking, how am I gonna get through this? I'm badly jacked up. My legs are broken. My knee is messed up. And he goes, you have a couple of months to get better. A couple of months isn't gonna do it. I won't get healed up in a couple of months. But I realized I'm gonna get through this shit.
My dream was to play baseball in America, and I wanted to do everything in my power to make sure that happened. And there was a lot of hiccups along the way. I had my first heart attack when I was 12. I had glandular fever, I had bacterial meningitis. But people kept telling me I wouldn't do it. So it made me work really hard to make sure I could do it. I was lucky enough at the age of 17 to sign a contract and live in America and play baseball. But as you know, life is like a roller coaster. You can get to a pinnacle point in your life and it can get taken away from you in a heartbeat. At the age of 18, I was playing baseball in Phoenix, Arizona. I slid into a base at second and I woke up 3 days later. And at the age of 18, I suffered my career-ending heart attack and I was sent home. I was a depressed boy. I thought life wasn't fair. And I would pray every night, but I wouldn't wake up in the morning. I just wanted God to take me. But I kept waking up every morning. Yet every time I've been knocked down, I always remember what my mum's taught me. Son, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up that truly determines the quality of your life. When I got home, I got a job in banking. This guy, day 3, tall old guy came in. He said to me, Michael, I'm Tom, I'm the CEO, let's have a chat. I had no idea what CEO stood for, but I just went in there and listened. He said, Michael, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I had no idea where I was going to be in 5 years' time, but my mum, she always taught me, son, shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll end up in the stars. So I said to him, Tom, in 5 years' time, I'm going to take your job. He hated me. Don't ever say that to your boss, okay? They do not like you when you say that. But within 12 months, I was the youngest bank manager in Australia. Within 2 years, youngest area manager, 3 years, youngest state manager. Within the 4th year of being with this company, I was the youngest national sales development manager for one of the largest companies in the world. At the age of 23, I had 600 staff, had 120 banks around Australia and New Zealand. I made lots of money. I lived in $1 million house, had a $100,000 sports car, wore the Armani suits and the Rolex, and I reported directly to my mate Tom. But can you imagine if we look at success not about the materialistic possessions that we can take from this world, but rather what we can give back to this world that makes it a better place than what we found it? I was fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to do something for the most inspirational, the most influential, and the most loving person I've ever met, and that was my mum.
I'm at my best. I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove, not just as a player, but as a person, as a father, to some extent, as a role model in all aspects. So I'm never really too complacent with myself or with what I've achieved. When I get to a point where I feel I can improve as a player, I walk away from the game. I still feel that I have a plateau that I hadn't reached yet in terms of my skills or my expectations of myself. I'm always going to expect myself to do certain things or surpass certain things. As long as I believe that, then my road to success is going to continue to extend.
Run from challenges, and what you don't realize, you've heard me say this before, a diamond isn't a diamond because it don't go through nothing. You feel me? Like, the diamond is a diamond because of the process, right? And we know the first is the pressure that it has to go through. And I'm telling y'all, if there's one thing I want y'all to tell the millennials, they got the relationship that they have with pressure is weird. I promise you, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. With millennials, they trying to run from problems. Like, for real, like they about to act like they about to commit suicide because of pressure, right? And they'll come to me, these millennials will come to me like, yo, E, I'm going through it. I'm like, you not, like, I got a lot on my plate. You ain't picking cotton. You ain't got those kind of problems. I'm just being real. Like, this ain't civil rights. You don't have dogs coming at you. I'm just being real. No dogs are coming at you. You don't have water hoses. You don't have people with clubs beating you upside your head. You ain't got no real problems. Like, you ain't got no real problems, right? So for me, I understand that when I look at my ancestors, like, challenges and pressure is why we say Martin Luther King, because he went through them. It's why we say Malcolm X, because we say Rosa Parks or Harriet Tubman. Why? Because of the challenges that they went through and they got through it. So listen to me. The first part of a diamond is pressure. The pressure is what destroys all the dross, like all the unnecessary stuff about you. Pressure is going to get that stuff out the way and bring greatness out of you.
My parents really thought that there was something terribly wrong of being that driven, because I would come home at lunchtime and then instead of having lunch, I would do 200 sit-ups. And then at night, I would go to the stadium and I would be lifting weights. I would come home at 10 o'clock at night and I would be continuing lifting weights. So it was like one of this insanity. In the military, I would continue lifting weights no matter how the training was and how tough the basic training was. I would always then lift weights afterwards. And as a tank driver, I would have on the side of the tank in the toolbox, I would have my weights, my barbells and my dumbbells and my exercise bench and everything there in order to be at any given time, if we stopped driving the tank and maneuvers at 2 a.m, I would be able to pull out my weights and again lift for 2 hours my weights. So I was really a fanatic about the whole thing, but it's the only way you really get where the way I succeeded, because I became at the age of 20 the youngest Mr. Universe in London in the history of bodybuilding.
But because you're not disciplined, he pulls on a couple. Some of you because you're not sexually disciplined, you've had people take stuff from you and you've been in places and relate. I just saw 2 young women that lost their lives that was on some dating thing and went to some man. I was just like, yo, where they do that at? Where do you just trust somebody online that you don't even know? What was it about you that you had such a low self-esteem, and then it was twins, it was sisters, that you just gonna go to some man's house you don't even know? Come on. Then another young lady just went to jail. Her man told her he killed somebody, and she took a saw and saw. I'm like, boo, you about to go to jail? I'm like, wow, is it that love that deep these days? People buying stuff. I'm like, well, you ain't grateful for what God, you gotta get the extra hookups? I ain't mad at you, but if you do that, you understand what you attracting. And then you mad when you ain't attracting a successful man of character and integrity and God, but you're not putting that out. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Listen to me very closely. Somebody, your 0 is gonna go to the next level when you can learn to say no. I was just at a function. My man was like, E, you did a phenomenal job, bruh. We doing happy hour at 3:30. I said, my plane leave at 3:50. He said, you're not gonna stay for happy hour? I said, bro, I'm not here for no happy hour. We don't know each other like that. Happy hour? I came to speak. I didn't come to build no relationship with you. I didn't come to drink with you. Drink? Bro, I don't even drink. And if I drank, I would drink at home. I wouldn't drink in front of you and get loose like that and start talking crazy. You don't need to know me like that. You need to know me as the #1 motivational speaker in the world, flawless. I'm not, but that's what you need to know me as. You don't even need to get close enough to me to know my faults. This is a business transaction. You going doing business with people drinking like y'all, what you being social for? You don't have no discipline. Drink when you get home. You just see some free wine. You see some free alcohol. Drink when you get home. This is business. Boundaries. There are boundaries. My man like, yo, why you gotta go? Because I'm married. I got a wife. I'm going home. We finished. We ain't got no more business to do. You told me you wanted a 2-hour presentation. I did it. I'm going home. But this is a resort. And I'm going home. Why? Because I can't get in trouble at home. I can't get in trouble at the crib. I can get in trouble at this resort. It's a lot of temptation at this resort. So I'm going home.